If giving your kids an allowance is a struggle, then how hard is it going to be setting up their inheritance? Today on Prep Heir, we're looking at how allowances are more than just getting paid for work, but a communication of values and a means to learn about money. What's the purpose of an allowance? It's to give our youth the opportunity to handle their own money, to learn how to use it, to make mistakes and absorb the lessons with your oversight and guidance. You get to watch them and to help them develop. It's fun, but it's also a negotiation. So here's a framework to consider. Many think the rationale for an allowance is based on paying our kids for doing their chores. They learn to earn their money. I want to avoid going down the path of whether kids should be paid to be a responsible member of the family. But let's look at the process of paying for chores and how I played that game as a kid. First, chores include the elements of quality and effort. When I grew up, my parents lined up all the family chores and listed a dollar value for each. Taking care of our cat was easy and cheap, unless you needed to go to the vet that week. The most expensive chore was laundry. We all hated laundry. So whenever I got stuck with it, I intentionally bombed, and we all suffered, especially my dad. He had the worst Oxford shirts that are all wrinkled up. When linking allowances with chores, it also introduced another element, particularly an if-then transactional arrangement. If you want me to do that, then you gotta pay me. And if they don't want the money, then they won't do the chores. This is a bad form of negotiation. So I contend linking money to standard chores just causes more complexity and heartache. Now, admittedly, I do give my kids $200 per week if they make their bed each day. I'm just kidding, I give them $2 per week. Oh, they wish I gave them $200. The reason why I do this is because I value starting the day in an organized way. So I offer them this simple bid. I do encourage paying kids for extraordinary work. My son likes shoes. He cleans his shoes. I pay him to clean my shoes because now I see the value, and he's good at it because he sees the value. We're aligned. When deciding what work to pay for, just think, is this something I would pay someone else to do? Our method of paying kids' allowance is very simple. We just pay our kids their age each week. The reason why we just give them this money is because we believe our kids gain financial empowerment through active play, and they can't learn if they don't have anything to play with. We only provide a few rules. They need to set aside a certain percentage to be saved, a percentage to be gifted, and the rest can be spent however they want, whenever they want. And yes, my kids immediately plowed their money into candy, sucking down pixie sticks of street sugar. And yes, of course we stepped in saying we don't want them to have that. But we all learned, and that mode changed pretty quickly. And further along the way, it's been interesting to see what unfolds. My youngest daughter spent all she could immediately. My middle daughter spent very little. But over time, those tendencies have reversed for each of them. Now, remember I said at the beginning that this is an ongoing negotiation, which is another skill that the youth and you can develop. For example, classically, we're out and about and they want something, asking us to buy it. Now we can say, go buy it yourself. But it's tough when you realize it will blow their entire budget. So ask yourself this simple question. Do you want them to have it? It's your prerogative to choose. Either way, they learn about your values, along with the limits of their request, plus the benefits of delayed gratification. While this allowance game is happening, they're busy building their own values, empowering themselves by making both good and bad money decisions that they'll have to live with. And even in the missteps, they can still know that they have your guidance, which also offers you an ongoing topic of conversation. It's an opportunity for everyone to measure their success, too. My kids know who among themselves has the biggest bank. They're constantly asking and bragging. A little healthy competition here is an okay thing. Here's one more example that we employ here to keep the focus on values. You'll recall I stated that a percentage of their allowance is allocated to giving. One way we go with this is to include their friends' birthday presents under giving. Our kids spend their own money on their own friends, though we tend to subsidize it. But importantly, they're investing their time and money, holding hope and anticipation that their friends are just going to love their idea, but also vulnerable and disappointed when they see it thrown aside. Just another life lesson that you can witness and assist along the way. In sum, a financial allowance offers real-life money lessons to empower our children with autonomy. Plus, it provides a method to stay tethered for early guidance on their inheritance. You can both see the money values develop and grow, along with their appetites. I hope this framework is helpful for you and yours. If so, make your kids watch it, although I don't think I post on TikTok. Anyways, share it with others that can benefit. And keep building.